Hello and welcome to yet another video here on the YouTube channel Spelfriendly Fellowship SDF. My name is Andreas Norwegian Viking and this is Wargaming Discussions video part 6 or episode 6. So as with every week I strive to give you a new topic. It's kind of hard sometimes, so if you have topic suggestions do stick it in the comment section below. But we have a fantastic community on the GVHL page, so a lot of people are chiming in to suggest future topics, so I do have a lot of them available at this time. So and people are talking about other stuff in the comments there as well, so wonderful stuff. Really like it. So last week's topic was the perception of a hobbyist, and was a bit of a sad topic. A person contacted me anonymously and wanted to talk about his or her struggles with the hobby and how it affects that person's daily life. And it's kind of hard. I found myself getting a bit sad over that kind of struggle. So I wanted to dedicate a video about it, and it's kind of hard for me to personally give my opinions about struggling with the hobby being a part of your life, because my hobby is written in my forehead. I do flaunt my hobby everywhere I go. I wear silly nerdy t-shirts to work, and I don't really hide the fact that I'm a huge nerd and a hobbyist, but I do try to see every topic from every angle, and thus give a vent to whoever watches these videos, and see if they can grab hold to something that has meaning for them. So it's always good to be of some kind of service, I guess. So we have a few comments from this topic, and we usually go through the top comments, and then I go through my own thoughts about their comments as well, and then we go into the next topic. So let's do that. So the first comment is from Waterman RP, and he says, this is a great topic, Andreas. In the United States, games are often seen as the pinnacle of nerdiness. In my life, I often did hide my hobby when I was younger. I bought my first game, the 2 Tower Start set, when I was 12, 13. That would make you 28, 27, 28 years now. Yeah, because the 2 Tower Start set was discontinued in late 2013. After many years of HeroClix and card games, Pokemon mostly, and only a few very close friends ever knew that I played, I was embarrassed, etc. However, as I and most people matured, you learn that people you often want to end up spending most of your time with and giving shit about are people who won't care when your hobby is as it's simply part of you as a person. Nowadays, the worst I get is my wife rolling her eyes when I choose to paint instead of doing the dishes. Those still get done the next day, mind you. I love being a gamer and a hobbyist. It makes me the part of a global community and people I know I can find anywhere. In fact, my main friend group in college was my gaming buddies from the local shop, and I've always been able to find a group of people with similar interests in any town in America, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. And to the original question asker, I would take a minute to think hard about the people you choose to spend the time with. Good natured ribbing is one thing. I'm known among my non-gamer friends as a nerd, but but people who actually hurt your feelings and go out of their way to ridicule you are people who clearly don't care about, despite statements to the contrary. And I apologize for your own mother mistreating you as well. That must hurt. Have you ever taken the time to explain what you like about the hobby to her? Maybe even draw a comparison to help her understand. Remember, at least you're not doing drugs with all the money you're spending on the hobby. That is a extremely profound sentiment. None of the hobbyists can afford drugs. That's simply a fact of life. The amount of money I spend on plastic crack is keeping me safe from other crack. Well, I don't think I would ever spend actual money or even partake in hard drugs anyway. But yeah. So that's by the by. But yeah, I do find it interesting, and do try to, the people you want to have in your life, the most important people, you can choose your own mother, but you can choose how you go about talking about your hobby and what your angle is. So I often find painting therapeutic. Keeps my mind at rest and helps me focus, helps me figure things out in life. I can spend hours painting and thinking of things and finding solutions to my problems, basically. And it's basically just to sort through whatever is going on in my brain, and that's something you can use as a argument, as well as it's a friendly hobby. Especially the SPG community is very friendly, bar some silly discussions here and there. It is mostly a very friendly environment, so you will not find hostility in this kind of environment. You would find mostly friendly faces who want to help you out, and that's always a lovely thing. And that's something you can use also as a conduit to explain things to your loved ones, why you spend so much time on a hobby that you love. That's basically because you feel loved as well in the grand community. So thank you for your comment, Wortman, and to the question asker. I do hope you find some solace in my video from last week, as well as the comments from people. Next up we have Nathan Van Til. He says, it's really sad to hear that people find this sort of hobby weird. It's not only fantastic for the creative part of the brain, it's as far as painting goes, but it's also an actual game. It's good for puzzle solving and keeping the old noggin fresh. I'm happy to have a lot of friends and family who are encouraging me when it comes to the hobby. I would say to those who have friends and family who are not supportive, that I will gladly be their best friend. I've yet to meet people who are unfriendly who are involved in the hobby. Good topic, keep up the good work and praise. So yeah, that's also true. If you have friends and acquaintances who more than give you a hard time for doing stuff like this, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who might be in the same situation as you, and we do find friends for life in this kind of hobby. Most, if not all, of my closest friends are people in the hobby, and that's something I'm very grateful for, because the way things work out is that you spend most time with the people you have most in common with, and that's fantastic if you can find people, and across borders as well. I live in Norway. It's far off and frozen, and we have polar bears going through the streets and everything. And I can speak to people in Texas. I can speak to people in South Africa and in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, wherever in the world you are part of a community, and that is friendship. And you can build strong, everlasting friendships on that as well. So thank you for your comment, Nathan, and I hope you and others do reply to this week's topic as well. So last comment, only 3 comments in the last video, and that is from David Murphy, and he says, haha, completely agree regarding football. My mom got me to try it when I was about 8 or so, didn't like it. I'm nearly 25 years old now and I still don't like it or get it, probably never will. I can wrap my head around the offside rule a bit, but I do not understand football at all, the appeal basically, but to each his own. If you like it, it's no harm in liking game. I like wrestling, and that's a weird sport. I find football weird, so for me that's a weird sport. So do whatever makes you happy, basically. Just as with painting small toy soldiers, if it makes you happy, just do it. That's what I will always say. So he continues on, I can't understand why countless adults obsess over watching a bunch of young men in shorts run up and down a field kicking a piece of rubber. But that is me, and your point is completely true. Well, from a certain point of view. I do expect some people to be as obsessed with football as I am obsessed with small toy soldiers. Getting German camouflage on vehicles exactly correct, even though there are hundreds of ways to paint German camouflage that is all correct. I want to have mine for Operation Barbarossa completely correct. That is nerdy, and it's nerdy to know the offside rule on the top of your head. It's nerdy to know the numbers of your favorite football player as well, and which club he played for, and whatever goal he scored a hat-trick in. It is all nerdy, and we're all the same basically. So why ridicule each other when we can just embrace our own differences and just be happy that we have something that can engage us. So that was the wrap up of last week's video, and I did place a small questionnaire on Great British Hobbit League to get a bunch of new topics for these videos, and I have gotten some. So gone from good suggestions from Ben Stanley, James Eachan again, got a topic from him, which I can use. Ben Camp has gotten one in, Luciano's, however, I will have to maybe see about getting in an unboxing. I do hope to get the trolls when I'm over in Stockport in 2 weeks, so hope to get that one sorted. Stephen Bonar is in. We have Terry Young. I'll be replying to your in a separate video, not in a Wargaming discussion video. So, and also Frederick Schultz have a suggestion, but I'm going for this week James Eachan's suggestion, which is, what makes a fun game? What does sportsmanship look like in building armies and playing games? So that's a very interesting topic, and but I do want to use Ben and Frederick's in future videos as well. So at least I have 2 more weeks of topics to go through. What makes a fun game? What does sportsmanship look like in building armies and playing games? So I do think that there are multiple answers to this question. When you play a game, you make a contract with the other player to have fun, because games are supposed to be fun. Of course, there are competitive elements to any game. Any sport has competitive elements, any board game has competitive elements, either against the board itself or you also have competitive elements against other players, either who can score the most points, or rather in a traditional game, or who can solve most objectives in a cooperative game. So even though there is competitiveness in every kind of game, there is always the fun aspect, and that's one of the contracts that you make when you are playing a game. So for instance, if me and James were to meet up, we only talked on the internet, and suddenly we find ourselves in the same city with one army each, and we want to have a game, and we then make a kind of an unwritten, unspoken contract about having fun. So there is no point of me playing a game if I'm not having fun, really. And that is something I generally mean. If I'm not having fun, why am I doing it? I have, on occasion, shaken somebody's hand and given them the victory because I really don't want to play a game on the terms of the other player. If they feel that strongly about a rule lawyering situation, that they are willing to sacrifice everything that makes a game fun, I would rather watch other people have fun, go talk to people, film and some event footage, something like that, rather than playing against that kind of person. And of course the other aspect is that we are playing with the same rules. So James wants to have a 600 point game, I am obliged to have a 600 point army to go against that. So as long as we're playing with the same rules, and we endeavour to make things fun for each other, that is what makes a fun game in the barest sense of the word. So in a competitive environment, you can have a really fun game because it drags you in, it makes everything exciting, having the strategies, seeing the other player react to your strategies and your moves, that is fun. And you can also find fun in completely slaughtering your opponent and stuff like that, but that might be one-sided fun. So it's important to make the experience gratifying for both players. So for instance, if I'm totally slaughtering my opponent, I want to make sure that that opponent doesn't feel surly after the game, that my opponent didn't have fun. So when I try to play games, I try to bring an army that is fun for me to play, but also fun for my opponent to play against. So I've had some experience with this. At the Norwegian Masters 2016, I brought an army that was comprised of Shadlord on foot, Uruk-hai Shaman with armor, Mordorok Taskmaster, 3 Mordoroks with spear, Blackguard Barad Captain with banner bearer, loads of, I think it was like 16 Blackguard, and Shade and Spectre. So that is an army that is very static. It doesn't really do anything except killing your army. It's nigh impossible to get some offense against them. So I had fun when playing that, because it was mentally taxing and it was mentally challenging for me to play with an army that I had to think moves in advance, had to think about every placement of every single troop along the lines. But I could see that my opponents didn't have fun. So for the Norwegian Masters 2017, I decided to take an all-hero Azog's Hunters list with all the named heroes, all 5 of them. And that is an army that's really, really quick. It's really, really fun. It is really, really vulnerable. And I could have fun, my opponents would have fun, and even though in some games I'm slaughtering people, in some games I'm struggling, at least my turns are fast. I'm not taking up a bunch of my opponent's time by measuring to the millimeters with everything, and that is something I strive to do. So Stockport is coming up, and I'm going to Stockport to play the Desolation of Stockport event in 2 weeks, and I'm bringing Dunlendings, a very non-competitive force. I'm making a bit competitive with some Griblies I'm placing in there, so it's not entirely pure army. It's one warband from an allied faction in there. There's no Uruks at all, no trolls in there. It's just Dunlendings, Wargs, and bats. For those of you who watch my hobby vlogs, plus Greenman Saruman, of course. so that I think that could be an enjoyable army. I will just rage forth like a Viking, piercing striking whenever I can, just having a blast, and sorcerer's blasting as well. So I do think that will be fun for both my opponents and for me, even though I will probably lose more than half of my games. But we'll see. It's 800 points against 800 points. Any army can win against any army and any scenario, if you're playing it correctly or having luck. So we'll see. So having a fun game is not only on the shoulders of your opponent, on your shoulders, on the shoulders of your army, stuff you manage into it. It's also what you make in the game itself. So I often like to forge a narrative in my game. I like to make stuff up like the courageous hobbit who stood against Beorn in the doubles at Ardacon. That is immensely cool, that I have that story to tell. So that hobbit got a name during the game, and he survived the game as well, so I followed him along the journey. So and I think, even though meanwhile completely slaughtered our foes in our doubles game, I do think that is a memorable moment for them as well. That they had fun, and we tried to include them in everything, make it fun, make noises, make loud noises, and just try to have a blast. And also you can debrief after the game, because I know that not everyone is as excited after loss than most people. So places like Element Games and Ardacon, they have a bar, so buy them a pint or a brew or something, and debrief after it. How was my playing style? Did I make it fun for you, even though I won with such a high margin? Would you prefer if I did something different if we were to play another game? Stuff like that could be invaluable to the perception of you as a gamer, and you could maybe change the way you approach the game. to make it more enjoyable for your opponents as well. One of the things I do that I know is a bad habit is to make a Jedi mind trick or Jedi sign over a dice and say 1, and even though it's probably because of those instances being most memorable, it does come up as a 1 quite often, and it's not because I'm a Jedi, although I would like to be, but it's something to do with the mental aspect of it, and I can just see my opponent is like stabbing daggers into my back. It's like, oh, shouldn't have said that. And it's the same thing about if you say to your own dice anything but a 1, and you of course roll 1, because you remember those moments the most, not fondly, but you remember those moments. So that's something to take with you, and that's something I try to work with, but don't always manage to do. So yeah, that is something cool. Alright, so for the second part of the question is, what does sportsmanship look like in building armies and playing games? I don't think sportsmanship does enter into everything, building armies, stuff like that. I think you show sportsmanship the best during the game. The opponent is making his mind up. What is my opponent's approach? Does he or she want to win the tournament? Is that person's ambition? Does that opponent still make the game enjoyable for me, striving to make the game fun for us both? Is the army that person is playing ultra competitive? Did that person bring an ultra competitive army when there's not an ultra competitive setting? If I'm just playing a casual game, I don't really want to bring a competitive army. I want to bring something cool, something fun. So that's something to think about. But I don't think sportsmanship itself lends itself to the army building process that much. Of course, you could not optimize your army. You could take something else than a ring wraith on Fell Beast, or you could take something else than the powerful army combinations there are in Lord of the Rings and Hobbit. So Undying on Fell Beast, Karadush, plus Witch King on foot, and a horde of Morannons and orcs and trackers is not always the most fun to play against, but if done correctly, you could still have a most sporting opponent in that game. Something I do think is really cool. So I could award most sporting opponent to somebody who beats me senseless in a game. That's not the issue. The issue is when you try to bend, break, or make the rules overly in your favour, when there isn't any precedence for it. If you are having arguments while playing, that is not enjoyable and that is not sporting. You should really have a civilized discussion rather than an argument, and then come up with an answer, and preferably without the inclusion of any ring bearers or TOs or referees or anything. You should be able to just make that decision. Is that the way we're going to play? Is that going against the spirit of the game? How do you feel about this? Is something you could ask the person. And when playing games, try to not laugh at your opponents. That's something people have a tendency to not like. Yeah, just be a nice guy, and I don't think I can say this without making some red flag at YouTube go up, but Will Wheaton has a great comment, or great statement, and that is, don't be a male reproductive organ. Expletive deleted. Don't be that guy or girl. Just don't. Just have fun, play the game, and enjoy it, because that's what we are here to do. You can still enjoy the games and make the game enjoyable while beating your opponent senseless on the battlefield. That's my take on it. So that's the discussion topic for this week. Do tell us about your experiences with non-sporting players. What you do to make your opponents feel welcome, to have a fun game. What is your take on a fun game? And what do you think about sportsmanship and building armies? Some interesting takes on this as well. So that's it for this week. Do remember our 3 running competitions. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube to be entered into 2 competitions there alone. Do check out our Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor competition video in the competitions playlist. And as always, guys, comment, like, share and subscribe, and support your hobby.